Alaska Airlines Flight 261 was on a routine journey from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico to Seattle, Washington, with a scheduled stop in San Francisco. The McDonnell Douglas MD-83 carried 83 passengers and 5 crew members, including 2 highly experienced pilots, Captain Ted Thompson, with nearly 18,000 flight hours, and First Officer William Tansky, who had logged over 8,000 hours. The flight departed in the afternoon of January 31st, 2000, cruising along the Pacific coastline in clear weather conditions. Shortly after departure, an issue with the horizontal stabilizer emerged. This crucial component, located on the tail, controls the aircraft's pitch. The MD-83 uses a trimmable horizontal stabilizer, which allows for fine adjustments to the aircraft's nose-up or nose-down position. The stabilizer is operated by a jack screw mechanism which had been suffering from excessive wear due to extended maintenance intervals. The excessive wear led to increased friction, making it difficult to adjust the stabilizer. Initially, the problem seemed minor, but as the flight progressed, it became increasingly severe. At 23,400 feet, the aircraft's autopilot struggled to maintain control, triggering a warning light in the cockpit. The pilots disconnected the autopilot and attempted to manually trim the stabilizer. They used the pickle switches, suitcase handles, and the alternate trim system, but none of these methods resolved the issue. The stabilizer remained stuck at a slight nose-down angle, requiring constant force on the control columns to keep the aircraft level. As the pilots continued troubleshooting, they contacted Alaska Airlines Maintenance Control in Seattle, informing them of the jammed stabilizer. The discussion soon shifted to the possibility of diverting to Los Angeles International Airport, which was preferred due to its better weather conditions. However, the airline's dispatcher questioned the decision, raising concerns about operational flow and delays. The captain insisted on prioritizing safety and was firm in his decision to divert. While communicating with maintenance, the crew re-engaged the autopilot, hoping for some relief. Instead, a sudden mechanical failure caused the horizontal stabilizer to shift abruptly to a full nose-down position. The aircraft entered a sharp dive, plummeting rapidly from 26,000 feet. Screams filled the cabin as intense G-forces pressed passengers into their seats and loose objects struck the ceiling. The pilots struggled against the overwhelming downward force, deploying speed brakes and pulling with immense effort on the control columns. After 80 seconds, they managed to level the aircraft at 24,000 feet, but the stabilizer remained jammed, meaning another dive was possible at any moment. The pilots requested a block altitude clearance from air traffic control, allowing them to operate between 20,000 and 25,000 feet while they continued troubleshooting. They contacted maintenance control again, but no new solutions were provided. Despite their exhaustive efforts, the stabilizer remained unresponsive. The aircraft was only being held level through the sheer physical exertion of the pilots. As the flight neared Los Angeles, the crew prepared for landing. They carefully tested the aircraft's response to different configurations, extending slats and deploying flaps to see if stability could be maintained at lower speeds. Initially, these adjustments seemed to work, but the captain decided to retract them to see if they could attempt to move the stabilizer again. Under extreme aerodynamic pressure, the stabilizer suddenly failed completely. With no resistance left from the worn-out jack screw, the stabilizer moved uncontrollably, causing the aircraft to pitch violently nose down. In a desperate attempt to regain control, the captain inverted the aircraft, momentarily stabilizing the pitch. However, the forces acting on the aircraft were too great. The engines, struggling against the extreme angles, began to stall. The pilots made one last attempt to roll the aircraft back upright, but the control surfaces were unresponsive. Realizing they were out of options, the first officer attempted to transmit a Mayday call, but it was never broadcast. Seconds later, Flight 261 crashed into the Pacific Ocean at approximately 4:21 p.m., breaking apart on impact. Nearby pilots reported seeing the aircraft plunge into the ocean, and their transmissions quickly alerted air traffic control to the disaster. A massive search and recovery operation was launched, covering an area about 2.7 miles north of Anacapa Island, California. After days of searching, the wreckage was located on the ocean floor. The flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder were recovered and sent for analysis. The investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board revealed that the primary cause of the crash was the failure of the horizontal stabilizer jack screw assembly. The excessive wear on the jack screw and acme nut was due to inadequate lubrication and extended maintenance intervals. As a result, the threads wore down to the point that they could no longer hold the jack screw in place, leading to the stabilizer's catastrophic failure. The tragedy of Flight 261 prompted significant changes in aviation maintenance practices and regulations. The FAA imposed stricter guidelines on maintenance intervals and required airlines to adhere to more rigorous lubrication schedules. Additionally, the industry reassessed the reliability of the MD-80 series stabilizer system, implementing design modifications to prevent similar failures in the future. Despite the loss of all lives on board, the heroism of Captain Thompson and First Officer Tansky was widely recognized. Their tireless efforts and quick decision-making delayed the inevitable crash, giving them a chance to at least attempt a controlled landing. The story of Flight 261 serves as a solemn reminder of the importance of stringent aircraft maintenance and the dedication of pilots who do everything possible to protect the lives of their passengers. Alaska Airlines Flight 261 will always be remembered as one of aviation's most tragic incidents, a lesson in the vital role of rigorous maintenance and pilot perseverance in the face of overwhelming adversity.